Let's see if it'll let me come back. Ah, there we go. Okay. This guy. I'm back. I got hell banned for watching NRL. Who's back? Who just jumped back in? Who's back? Who just jumped? Oh no, I don't want to beat that. All right, Quinn told me to come and check out the Indigenous Jerseys Day or with Indigenous Week. I mean, that just looks like a Warriors jersey. Cool colors though. I like the white. Usually they're blue, huh? $160. Damn, do you get more? Extra large. A lot of 5X, 7X. That's high, I guess. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, I can do that. That's pretty dope. Wait, can I get the front or the back? It's kind of a dumb. It's kind of a dumb. Where are the Tigers from? West Tigers. There's a lot more indigenous people there. Oh, that's gray. Pretty dope. Got some indigenous tribals. Who's next? The Cowboys. Oh, those are pretty sick. The Galaxy. This was one of the coolest things I thought that the MLR did in America was doing the City Day jerseys. Some of them are pretty sweet. Some of them suck. Some people just aren't good at being creative and designing stuff. Let's see, got some polytribal in there. Constellations, dude. Dude, Yeti sponsors an NRL team. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. Okay. The Storm. Basically the same as the last one, but they didn't do the space. Didn't do space. Who's next? Canterbury Bulldogs. Not the KFC. That's pretty sick. Is that their normal colors? I don't even know. Dude, I don't know anything about NRL. The Roosters. Oh, the boomerang. I peeped the boomerang in there. It's pretty lit. How do I go now? What a retarded website. Lots of boomerangs. Okay, Roosters. Sydney, guys. This is Brisbane. The Brisbane Broncos. Was it like snake skins? It's like skins. It's a literal skin. That one's pretty cool. I like the Broncos colors. I like the maroon and gold. I think maroon and gold is pretty dope. the Knights. The little Aboriginal flag on there. That's pretty good, pretty good. Who's this? The Panthers. The good old Panthers. Dude, this guy went to Indiana Fever. You guys see the thing? The one girl from the Fever came on and said, guys, please stop throwing dildos on the court. Because I guess it's like a new thing now that, not a chatter guy, that they do someone keeps chucking a dildo on the, what do you call that? The WNBA courts. She's like, someone's going to get hurt. People are just making fun of her now. So far, I think the Broncos is tight, and I think the Cowboys is tight. You guys are. Mine says you guys are tied for first. Tied for first, guys. The Sharks. Oh, that's pretty cool. Is that a whale? Ooh, with the waves on there. That one's pretty tight. But they're the Sharks. And they have a whale on there. That's kind of weird. What's on the back? Oh, they got all animals. Get some. What are those? Freaking. Some little critters. Like a hawk. A hawk tool. It's the Rabbitohs. That's pretty cool. They're the first ones, or they include the accents on here. See the full screen. Full screen. Oh, it's a whale. That's not a whale shark. Is that a whale shark? That looks like a humpback whale. I don't think that's a whale shark. That's this guy. I'm just playing. Like, no way. Ooh. The eels. The first ones that have. Oh, I guess the other guy said the Rabbitohs had a rabbit. I like the eels. The eels, pretty good. Pretty good. The dragons got some aboriginals on there. It's a good touch. Good touch. Oh yeah, dude. That's what. The advertising thing, that's like one thing that in American professional sports is not that big of a thing. Like, I think the NBA gets like one on their corner, the NFL the same. But like, dude, other international sports, they're just their whole jerseys covered. Michael likes dragons. Does he? Micah, do you like dragons? Dragon D's. But yeah, that's like all professional sports, especially like rugby and soccer, because it's not like football and basketball where they have breaks all the time. And so they have a ton of time for commercials. Since you have to run like a full almost hour before you can take a break, it makes it really hard. Hey, where'd the mod go? The mod's just letting you guys get away with this. Oh, who are these guys? There's a dolphins in this league? I didn't know that. I like those. I like that color. Those colors are nice. That's pretty nice. Who else we got? It's the Raiders. I saw some people making fun of the Raiders, like opening chant thing. Sponsored by Toyota forklifts. Oh yeah, those ones are pretty. Those ones are nice. I like that. I like that. Big bundles. Oh, it looks like Quinn officially took number 1. Mike is number 2. One more tie. Who's this? The Sea Eagles. You guys see CD Lamb get ran over. He got freaking trucked. Let's go like this. this on TikTok. This guy got ran over.
Was celebrating Jonathan Mingo getting behind his defender. He was so excited he jumped in front of him.
Romans on the sideline can clear things up as we look at CD Lamb on the sideline. Kyle?
Yeah, guys, this happened right in front of me.
This guy got cracked.
Mingo getting behind his defender.
He was so butthurt when he stood up.
For the Cowboys, sideline infraction.
What a dummy. Probably just broke that ref's neck. Oh, that's not there. That's what they usually wear. I've done that to Quimby before. Not the Go Rams guy. Oh. You guys should go do it right now and then submit the video and I'll watch it. Okay, what else should I do? Is that all of them, Quinn? I hit all of them. Let's see. I'll load more. Let's see what else am I missing. The Titans. That was pretty cool. Who's this? Some more Dragons? Dragons got two? Oh, is this last year? Those are last year's. Why this guy got... Oh, that's paint. I thought this guy, his arms taped like that. Like, what a weird way to tape. CD would have split like that in that game? What does that even mean, Chase? What does that mean exactly? Should box your phone. I only have like 5 of them, so it'd just be you guys and like some random people in North Dakota. Oh, he would have got split like that. Yeah. By who? Who in the Rams D would split? CD Lamb. Okay, Quinn, what else can I react? What else can I watch that's not going to get me demonetized over here or freaking blocked? Oh, yeah, I got Jared versus. It's pretty good. Let's see. Where's my... Oh, it's down here. Duh. Oh, there's... Well, why is the chat so big? Oh, that's the other chat. Nope, don't go to that one. Alright, get rid of that. Late ass chat. This guy. That's a crazy one. Oh my god, that was crazy. That was wild. That was a wild thing to say. Alright. Let's see. Nope. What am I on? I wonder if... I wonder if this one will do the same thing. Alright, I'm gonna watch this one.
DC, but for... I'd said before that 2025 was...
You guys ever watch that Critical Drinker? I like this guy. We'll see if this guy gets my... NRL is so dumb, dude. Watching sports on live streams is so stupid. They're like... I guess, yes, it's their money. It's whatever, but I think it's super dumb. But watch this guy. This guy's name is the Critical Drinker. He does a lot of like movie reviews and like media breakdowns and stuff. I really like his videos, and I think he does a great job. Great job, guy.
I'd said before that 2025 was going to go down as the make or break year, not just for Marvel and DC, but for superhero movies in general. The MCU desperately needed to get back on track after years of embarrassing flops and underperformers, while James Gunn had the challenge of rebooting and relaunching the entire DC universe on film. On the Marvel front, things didn't get off to a great start.
The video's quiet, Quinn. I can fix that. I can fix that.
That's for sure. Brave New World turned out to be a bloated, chopped up, embarrassing mess that flopped harder
So far, I haven't seen any movie that's in this
than a
this
fat
video.
influencer on a high diving boards. Thunderbolts got a slightly better reception from fans, although fuck knows why, but still failed to make any impact at the box office. That left Fantastic Four to redeem a pretty disastrous year for the franchise. And well... Fantastic Four is a fucking flop, just like all the other Marvel movies that have come out this year. Which is interesting, because it was actually pretty well received by fans and critics. Damn man, even I enjoyed it and gave it a half-decent review. It had a reasonably good opening weekend and solid word of mouth, so why did it fall off harder than Rachel Zegler's career? Well, dear viewer, Dr. Drinker is here with a big old batch of truth pills. They're gonna be bitter and hard to swallow, but just like I tell Tatiana, you'd better swallow them and keep them down, or it's another 3 days in the hole for you.
That's great. That's crazy.
You're gonna edit that out later, right? Okay, cool. Anyway, I think the failure of Fantastic Four has been pretty useful in some ways because it's dispelled...
Have you guys seen any of these? I haven't seen any of these movies. I haven't gone to the theater and watched a good movie well, I'm in it. F1 was pretty tight. I liked F1. F1 was cool because it was just like, you got what you paid for. It wasn't like hella extra, all this other crap. It's just like, hey, I'm watching a movie.
A few myths that people have been clinging onto for way too long now. Myth number one is that Marvel is ever going to come back. That all it'll take is the right movie at the right time to catapult the franchise back to the glory days of the 2010s.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Well, here's a reality check for you. That is never gonna happen. Yeah, they might still get the occasional hit, and they'll all...
I think the problem is they keep spending like Avengers money on these movies when they're not Avengers like build up. Like the Avengers was Iron Man 1 all the way till the Endgame. That was like a huge build up, and they're trying to like build out all these stories over that period of time. That's what I thought, dude. I thought Jessica Alba still should have been the #1 in this one, dude. But again, nope, didn't happen. They could have just used her. She still looks exactly the same almost as she did when you made that other movie.
Always have a core fan base they can rely on, but the days of billion-dollar movies being practically normal are long gone, and they're not coming back. 500 million is rapidly becoming the number that most people are talking about, which would be fine if movie budgets actually reflected that reality. But with $200 or even $300 million on production alone still being standard practice, well, the numbers just don't add up, and no amount of positive spin is going to change that. So why the hell did this happen? Well, partly because Marvel is a damaged brand by now. Their fan base has gradually been driven away by half a decade of mediocre movies and shitty TV shows, preachy and divisive identity politics, formulaic
The hell is that?
storytelling, dated humor, and sheer media oversaturation. They got too successful, too complacent, and too lazy, and they fell into the trap of thinking that they could just keep expanding forever.
Sheer hubris. Fucking hubris.
It really is hard to miss something that never fucking goes away, and it's even harder to get excited about it when it's basically the same experience every single time, only with different colored spandex. Even a good Marvel movie at this point is like middle-aged...
Dude, I don't know any of these scenes. Like, I haven't seen any of these movies. This is crazy.
sex in a stale
I'm
marriage.
guessing this has all been over the last 2 years.
Less about the excitement and novelty of exploring new possibilities, and more about going
Eternals. Yeah, I never watched Eternals. That was like 3 years ago.
through a series of familiar steps to reach the same predictable
Oh, he just missed
outcome.
chase his girlfriend.
Myth number 2 is that Pedro Pascal is a serious box office draw. Like, can we all just accept at this point that this guy isn't really going to happen? And all the fun and media coverage and red carpet appearances in the world aren't going to change that. Like so many other people, I've been trying to figure out why Hollywood's been pushing this increasingly insufferable, borderline creepy 50-year-old weirdo so hard, like he's this hot young talent taking the industry by storm, and by George, I think I've got it. For whatever reason, Disney have made him
Yeah, his best movie was the one where he had a helmet on. You didn't even know it was him for the entire series.
a cornerstone of not one but two of their biggest franchises, Star Wars and Marvel. They've pinned a lot of their hopes on this guy. They desperately need him to be a star, so they've marshaled the entire Hollywood media machine behind him to try to make him a star. The problem is, well, he isn't, and he never really has been. He's a character actor at best, solid and talented for sure, but hardly spectacular, and gassed up way beyond his league by insane overexposure. He doesn't have the charisma, the magnetism, the screen presence, or even the looks to be a top-level draw, and he's too old to grow into the role now. 50 is normally the point.
Bro, this thing was freaking weird. Watching this too, touchy dude. That was... She's married. I'm pretty sure she was like actually either just had a kid or she's pregnant. Then that's just like that. This whole thing was weird as hell.
Where most actors' careers start to decline as middle age kicks in and the next generation of talent moves up to replace them. I don't really know why people expect his career to do the opposite, but somehow they do.
Weirdos.
Also, the meme of him being in fucking everything feels like it's evolved from a bit of niche good.
Yeah, have you seen that video where the guy's like, "Hey, should we go watch a Pedro Palma movie or maybe a Pedro Pascal movie or maybe a Pedro Pascal?" It's like literally 4 movies that are in theaters right now. They star this guy or he's at least in it, and I'm like, dude, how do you even? Maybe he has a twin. Maybe he's like a twin or he's like a triplet, and that's how he's able to be in all the movies at one time.
Natured ribbon on social media to actual widespread irritation now, proving the point that familiarity really does breed contempt. Myth number 3 is that superhero fatigue isn't a thing. Bad movie fatigue is.
Really?
Nope, superhero fatigue is absolutely a thing, and it's about time people accepted that. Movie genres rise and fall like the sun. Nothing stays popular and relevant forever, and after a quarter of a century of domination, the sun is well and truly setting on superheroes now. And by that, I don't mean they're ever going to die out and disappear completely. Just like the comics that inspired them, there's always going to be a core audience wanting more. What I mean is that general audiences, the people who bring in the bulk of the box office revenue, have lost interest and moved on to other things now. Superheroes aren't cool.
What's crazy is they can still make like the 7th Fast and Furious movie, 8th Fast and Furious movie, 12th Fast and Furious movie, and people are still gonna go see that crap, dude. Like, because it's just the movie's just the movie. They don't make it for any other reason other than to make a cheesy, corny, over the top action movie about driving cars, kind of, but not really anymore. Well, people still go watch it. Like, people still care. It's not like any of these other things where it's like you're trying to build a whole universe and have like funny but also interesting but also dramatic, but it's like it's not that. And then DC, I think, messed up when they took Superman, and instead of going, dude, the most popular DC movie that I've ever seen or ever been a part of was the Dark Knight movies. And if you don't have like the Dark Knight movies, the whole point was they were super serious. Like, even the jokes that were part of the Dark Knight movies weren't the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, almost borderline slapstick comedy. Like, there were some funny quips, but for the most part, they were dramatic movies, and they were very interesting to watch in the stories. You have the Joker, just a crazy villain. Bane, crazy story behind that guy. Definitely not as crazy of a villain as the Joker, but like, DC should have just kept playing that. They should have kept playing. I mean, they had the movie The Joker too. They had like movies that weren't superhero movies that were still, because now you have Marvel. They basically, with the introduction of all the time travel and stuff, and I'm sure there's a way to do that without ruining the whole storyline. But now it's just like you can just bring anyone back at any time, so you lose a lot of the stakes. You don't have the idea of Iron Man dying and being gone from ever for the world, and that's his sacrifice. But if he can just come back, it's like sacrifice doesn't really mean as much when they can just hit the rewind button and do it all again.
Or compelling anymore. Yeah, the decline in quality and the saturation of the market definitely speeded the process up, but the truth is, it was gonna happen eventually no matter what. Even James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, the biggest and most iconic superhero of them all, is struggling to make much headway at the box office. The tentpole movie designed to kick off a whole new cinematic universe, arguably a day late and $1 short, is currently sitting at $550 million a month after release. At this rate, it's gonna struggle to even hit $600 million. That's not just a disappointment, that's a fucking disaster. DC wheeled out the biggest gun in their arsenal for this one. See what I did there? And it barely made a dent. I mean, what kind of numbers do you think Supergirl, or Clayface, or Swamp Thing are gonna do if even fucking Superman can't draw big crowds? The harsh reality is that the cultural zeitgeist has shifted now, the audience has matured and changed, and they've left superheroes behind. All those outlandish outfits and crazy powers that were so cool and revolutionary 10 years ago seem kind of lame and dated now. A cultural holdover from a previous generation, lingering beyond its time, struggling for relevance in a world that's moved on without it. So where do we go from here? What does the future hold for superhero flicks? Well, like I said earlier, there is still a way for superhero movies to carry on and turn a profit for the studios, but it has to be based on the understanding that the market is smaller and tougher now. If 500 million is the best you can hope for at the box office, then you need to start slashing your budgets big time. 100 million is where most superhero movies want to be sitting now, which means leaner and meaner productions, cutting down on expensive VFX and big name actors, and focusing more on quality writing. It really comes down to a choice between managed decline or complete implosion. It all sounds pretty obvious, because it is, but sometimes things that seem obvious to normal people like us seem to sail right over the heads of Hollywood executives. I don't know if they can or will change, but one thing's for sure, superhero movies as we've known them for the past 20 years are over. Whether this means the start of a new era or a complete collapse of the whole genre, only time will tell. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
I'm throwing a party.
Shut up. Shut up. Yeah, that's Critical Drinker. He's good. I've watched his videos for like 2-3 years now, and that's what he just delivers amazing videos, and he has great commentary, finds good things to say. He knows what he's talking about. Let's see, there's another video I wanted to watch. Oh. I want to watch this one. This is a guy. This is let me get this switched. So that goes there. Anyway. Alright, this is Quick Media. I've been watching this guy for a while. Member of the church. I think he has a broadcasting background. He's very well spoken, knows about what he's talking about. He gets a lot of good people on his show. He talks about a lot of the different dynamics that happen in the church on a public level, but he talks a lot about BYU related issues and CES, church education system issues, and that's something that I think is very interesting. And I saw this title, I think he posted this a couple days ago, But I wanted to save it and have kind of like a blind reaction to it. But he's at the, I think it's called the Fair Conference. It's like a big conference where a bunch of people from the church come in. I don't even know what the heck. Let me see. See if we can find what that even is. I should definitely know what the hell that is, but I sure don't. FAIR stands for Faith Answers Informed Response. So that's what that is. So he's talking about I'm pretty sure he's talking about a big one of the keynote speakers at this conference was the LDS Comms director, and obviously title answers on the family proclamation. So he's doing it from his car, which is usually a sign that there's about to be some stuff said. So we'll see what he has to say.
So I was at the FAIR conference last night and listened to Aaron Sherinian, the communications director for the church. He had a good talk, a good presentation. He had some good messages. But as you may have heard already, when he was done, there was a Q&A, and he was asked specifically, do you support the family proclamation? Now, why would that have come up? Why would that be an issue? The issue is, and you can go back, and I've got a couple of episodes on this from when Brother Sherinian was called to be communications director, on his background and things that I had seen on social media with him. But that's a legitimate question for him.
And why the reason why that's a legitimate question is because, and I've been graduating from BYU for like, what was that, 6 years now, almost 7 years, 6 or 7 years, and I still keep in touch with a lot of people that are there, and apparently this issue alone is getting a lot of, it's drawing a lot of questions at BYU, and it's crazy. I've heard some crazy stuff, some wild stuff as far as professors saying that that's not doctrine, even though it's very clearly stated that the proclamation of the family proclamation is a document that was created by our prophet at the time. It was revelation given. It was something that was very important. Early 2000s, like this, and this is literally everything in the world that's going wrong today. You can argue that it's a deterioration of the family unit and what is contained in this document of the family proclamation that is causing a collateral damage across the board in all relations and all things considered. So that's a crazy one to me. But that's why I was interested in this video, is because I want to know. This is the comms director. This isn't just. I don't exactly know who this person is, but this isn't just a random sociology professor at Brigham Young University. This is someone who speaks regularly on behalf of the church.
Legitimate question. Has that changed? Has it not changed? In his talk, he brought up, and in the Q&A, he brought up how there was a lot of pushback when he was called, and flack is what he called it. And, I might have been the one leading that out at the time. But
this guy talks. Greg Madsen, that's it. I believe his name's Greg Madsen. I just know him as Quick Media. But he calls this out a lot. He's one of the people on the front end of calling it, basically calling a spade as far as what's being taught in the upper echelons of, obviously, the church, because BYU represents the educational kind of like final step of members of the church. And so, like, if it's being put wrong up there, then that's just going to trickle down and be across the board, is going to start affecting. And I think you see a lot of that in our wards and stakes in different organizations in the state of Utah compared to like when we're in the South. Very different. It's a very different vibe in regards to all of these things. But here in Utah, there's something different about the way that the church operates on a cultural and social level in Utah.
He did say a really good thing about that, I will say. He said, do I take it personally when people had asked him that about those messages? And he said, yes. He said, but the person that
Dude, Loki, Micah, you're not wrong. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. It's a cult. It's a cult with when what people believe is a cult. I know there's a lot of like, dude, there's some underground Gaddy and robber stuff going on at BYU. That is 100%. I can almost say that factually that there's some shady stuff over there, dude. And I'm about to start checking my tithing dollars if they're going over there at this point.
saying those things is also taking things personally about, you know, his background and things that he has said. And I appreciated that. That at least tells me there's awareness that is there. And I have no doubt that Aaron is very good at his job. There's a reason he's put there. I have no doubt that he's a good husband and a good father. And these are all the most important things, right? These are all the most important things. And so you need to keep that in context.
But I think that's part of the problem is, yes, those are important things. Like, it's all important, but as far as his job goes, this is something that we can stand firmly on because it's part of our doctrine. It's our belief in the family. And if they're not going to do it, if the people that are in those positions of power within the church are not going to do it, then it's like it shows a blatant disconnect between those upper seats of the church and because the apostles will get up there all the time during general conference and clearly state the importance of the proclamation, the family proclamation, and the importance of that document as it relates to how we should conduct ourselves and carry ourselves within the gospel of Jesus Christ. So that's why this is important. This is like a foundational belief. And there are people within the church and in the upper parts of the church that they're not like, it should be a very black and white thing, in my opinion. It should be, yes, is it important? Is it the thing? Or no, is it not? And so if you're going to just avoid, if you're going to basically commit a sin of omission, a lie of omission, and just say and not say anything about it, then that's just as bad as saying it doesn't really matter.
He's a good man, right? But the reason that this is important in the Q&A and it's very important, when he was asked specifically, do you support the family proclamation? He said a lot of words. He would not answer. He wouldn't answer.
That PR training kicked in. He started saying all the keywords and not dropping any words that actually matter, which is yes or no. They're just like the politician. This is just like a politician thing when they're up there testifying for committee and they're like, yes or no. And they're like, well, that's it. It's like just a yes or no. You can explain later, but they're just asking a yes or no question right now.
And it's unfortunate.
Because the more you dance around the question, the more likely the answer is the negative one. On behalf of your organization.
That we're in a position where this becomes almost this litmus test. And I'm sure people that do not want to answer the question about the family proclamation look at it that way. It's like, this is a cudgel. It's divisive. Well, the only reason it's divisive is because it's truth. And because
it's truth, and truth is very uncomfortable because there's two sides to the truth. There's the so like with the family, there's the yes, marriage is between a man and a woman, and that is the qualifier for your family is a husband, a wife, a dad, a mother raising their children. Is that a truth or is that not a truth? Is that the way that God intends it or is that not the way that God intends it? So it's a yes or no. So it's like, if you can't give that yes or no, then obviously you're painting the corners with some gray, trying to squeeze other things in there that, according to that document, are very clearly not supposed to be in there.
Individuals have a certain background and tendency to sweep it under the rug. And in context, our society is moving further and further into Babylon, and the primary motivator for this, the primary energy in that move is the destruction of the family.
Dude, the collapse of all great civilizations, that was like the peak of the depravity was always when the family was gone, man was living for himself, doing all kinds of abominable things, and there wasn't being held. Like, I can't go out and do a lot of dumb, stupid stuff because I am held accountable to my wife and to my children. If I go do that, that ruins their life, that ruins what they're doing, and I don't want to do that. And so I have to watch what I do, watch what I say, and I have to stay within the bounds of my marriage. And if not, then it's like, what's the whole point? What's the point?
And when you can't say, I support the family proclamation, even a little bit, there's a problem. That is a problem. Now, in most positions, he doesn't have a calling, a priesthood calling in that. I mean, he does probably, but not in his position here. This is he's a church employee, and for most of the church employees, I don't know that that's a major thing. I mean, we want to have a large enough umbrella that you can bring in people that have different ideas and whatnot. But in that position, where you are one of the faces of the outward look of the church and inward, then there's an issue there. He has got to find a way to either align himself more with that or a better way to answer this. Because you had 300 people there live, plus you have people streaming this live. And it's the elephant in the room, and it becomes the message. And he's not the only person of influence in Salt Lake, of a large amount of influence in Salt Lake, that does this, that will sweep it under the rug completely. And so all of a sudden you're a member of the church and you're like, what is going on? Why is it this way? Why is this happening? I mean, to me, I see this and I get the lesson that, well, if the family proclamation is brought up, then just skirt around it. You don't.
When it's the easiest, if you truly believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, it is one of the easiest things to defend. It's one of the easiest things to be stalwart about, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, we have family that are part of the LGBTQ community, and obviously that doesn't fit under these staunch guidelines of the family proclamation. And those answers and those conversations are a lot harder to have. But when this is something that is doctrine, that's like saying, do you believe that Jesus suffered for your sins? And you have to dance around that. It's foundational to the plan of salvation and God's plan for us as Jesus suffering for our sins. Those are all parts of that plan. Those are the steps that line up. And if you can't indefinitely say, yes, I believe in the family proclamation, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. Like, if you can't say that, then what's the point of you even being the mouthpiece for a church that can say that? Because the church can clearly say that, because that's their proclamation to the world, is that we believe that. But if you as the mouthpiece for that church on a media level can't say that, then why do you have your job? Why are we paying you?
Need to support it because you don't want to offend Babylon. I mean, that's the worst thing that you could do. And of course, for some people, there are other forces. There are other issues, right? What if you have a member of your family that is LGBTQ and you're afraid that that's going to cause problems? Fine. I get that. I understand that. But if you're in a position that he's in, and there's and people that he works with, I'm sure at the UN and other places, I mean, this could be something that is a problem, right? It's a problem, perhaps with some of his work.
I think it's only a problem if you're playing politics. If you're not playing politics, if you're saying it like it is, and expecting everyone to respect you, you're going to respect everyone else's opinions and their beliefs. So you should be able to say it like it is and expect that same respect in return, whether they agree with it or not.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. But it's the reason it's important is because everybody sees Babylon moving along here, the destruction of the family, and yet there are people in influential positions that will not even stand up for it. And just the opposite. I mean, obviously, if he's not going to stand up for it, he either doesn't agree with it, or he's afraid to say it. And that's concerning. And I think that makes it even more important that we do speak up about it. There are people in the comments on X that, there are several people that have commented on this already because the video is already out from FAIR. People see for themselves that he did not answer this. It's kind of a word salad that he goes through on this. And so there's responses, and some of them are, well, you're just a right-winger. Isn't that interesting? No other politics are being brought up here, but if you support the family proclamation or you have an issue with someone skirting around it and not addressing it, all of a sudden you're a right-winger. I think that's a bizarre reaction. I mean, is it from the brethren or is it not?
Well, it's because people only know how to play team sports. People only know how to go between A and B. People only know how to play red team, blue team. People don't know how to be a normal human being and stand off the field and make decisions and make comments and stand on their beliefs. People only know how to be one way or the other. And I think that's like, but that's the easy thing to do. That's the easy thing to market. That's the easy thing to put in media. That's the easy thing to sell is good guy, bad guy. That's the easy thing to sell. Gray area is very difficult to sell. Very difficult to get your advertising dollars back on talking about gray area. So it's like, obviously, people only know, we've been conditioned now to only have an A-B brain. There's no spectrum in between the middle. And so it's like people can't understand that you can be for a lot of maybe liberal or democratic beliefs, but also think that God and Jesus Christ want us to live in family units, and that's the best unit to thrive in as human beings.
And is it brought up still at the pulpit, or is it not? Did President Oaks call it doctrine, or is it not? It's not scripture, right? There's a difference there, but it is all based on doctrinal principles from the church all the way through the temple. And do we go, the question then, right, what this comes down to, the question is, are we going along with Babylon? Do we go along with Babylon? Or do we stop and let the current pass us? And that's what I think most people take issue with. Why are you influenced by the outside world to such a degree that you cannot stand up for some of the most pure principles of family, of marriage, of children, and not say, hey, we're a church that is built on family?
That's literally when you go through temple, the temple talks about this. It's not just the family proclamation, just was a proclamation stating what we believe, but this doctrine is taught on many levels throughout the entirety of Scripture. Old, New Testament, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, like everything points to the importance of man, woman, children, family, and how that's the only way it propagates. You don't have anything else with that basic family union, right? And so it's just crazy to me that they cannot stand on what they believe and be with this. And it's just like everything else within church, and we're sliding to be. I get wanting to be accepted as part of Christianity. One, as we talked about last time, Christianity don't want us, and so that's going to be a problem for us if we're constantly trying to fit that mold of what the Christianity of the world is. We're never really. We can try and fit that mold as good as we want, but they don't. Most of them don't want us. Like, and I get like try and love them. You still love them and be a part of them, but trying to be them. In a lot of ways, I mean, like you look at the music festivals that we do, the youth music festivals and all that. Like, we're trying to be something that I don't really think we are. But I think that's what Greg's saying is that's not a good thing. To go along to get along, like that doesn't make any sense. That's not what Christ did. Christ didn't go along to get along. Christ was literally committing blasphemy as far as the Jewish faith goes, and that's what like started the whole thing. And so it's like, is that what we're supposed to just now we want to be accepted, and so we do that? Like I can tell people, and even in the comments on one of my other videos, I can tell people till I'm blue in the face that I'm a Christian, but they're not gonna take my word for it. They're not gonna believe it. I don't believe in the Trinity. I don't believe in sola scriptura. I don't believe in any of this. So I can't be a true Christian. And I'd say to them, okay, cool. Go do what you do. I'll go do what I do. But in my heart, like what matters between me and God is that I'm a Christian. I do believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So it's like, but like as far as a lot of like public image stuff within the church, it's like, well, we want to be. Our name is changed now. We're clearly Christian. Duh, look at the name. It's the Church of Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints. Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus Christ. We can sit there and say that all we want, but it's not going to matter because they don't believe us. They don't care. A lot of them just think we're trying to sell. For some reason, people think that our missionaries go out there and they're basically selling solar, and when they get someone enrolled in the gospel, into the gospel and get them baptized, then that's Well, there we go. We got their tithing dollars now. When it's like, what are you talking about? Half of the church is in a third world country. You think any of that, like, they give what they have, but it's like in some parts of the world, the only building with electricity and air conditioning is the building of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you think if we just only relied on tithing, like, that's tithing, the pot goes, then the pot goes out and fixes the problems of the church and provides for its people. So, like, to say, and we just can't stand on these simple things and expect to be accepted, because we're not going to be accepted. That's something I've come to grips with. the Protestants, the non-denominationals, the Anglo, they're not going to accept us. Still love them. I love learning about their faith. I love teaching them about our faith, but they're just not going to accept us. So why skirt around these things? Just stand on business, say what you believe, be a part of what you believe, and let it be.
We're a church that's built on these principles. And to be in a position of influence like that is very concerning to me and obviously to many others, that you can't answer this simple question. I hope that he can come up with a way to do this better, regardless, right? I hope he can come up with a better way to answer these types of things and others that are in positions of leadership, because it's just going to fuel the fire of people that are concerned over certain people in positions of influence in Salt Lake. Thanks for listening.
All right, then he did one more. He did a follow-up. So we'll watch that one too.
All right, so this is a follow-up video that I'm doing on the comms director, the episode that I did yesterday. I want to do two things here quickly. I want to put this into more context as I see it. I do have context on this. And secondarily, I want transparency. I want the exact question to be out there as close as we can get it. I'm going to read the question here that comes from a transcript from Matthew Watkins, who transcribed the video before the video was taken down. So that's where I'm sourcing this, okay? And I'm going to read this.
Oh, they took it down, dude?
It says, when you first came on board the church, there was a lot of online flack, should we say, and people even, I've gotten a few questions here. There were 4 questions from the audience on specifically the family proclamation, right? I've gotten a few questions here asking directly whether or not you support the family proclamation. And how was that for you when you first came on board? Has it improved, and how do you deal with that? So the questions were direct questions on the family proclamation. That's what this was about. Context on this, and this is an important part of the question. What was the online flack? What was that? I was part of that online flack. It was about the family proclamation. That's the whole point of the entire question, is things that he's said and some things he's done and the social media scrubbing with him on his background. And so the whole thing, the flack itself, was about the same.
Oh, so all these people came, and it's 4 different questions. They came to take this guy to task because he has a background of being, which is crazy to me that someone can be, and I don't know if it's appointed or but hired into that position. And even like the fact that he would have to scrub things before taking the position or while he's in the position, that's crazy. Like, if there's something in your background or in your social media past that doesn't jive with the job, then it's like, should you have that job? That's crazy.
Same thing, and that is why he's highlighting this and these submitted questions specifically on the family proclamation within the question that he's giving to the comms director. So I know that a lot of people might be looking at this in a vacuum. You can't just look at this in a vacuum. I did 2 episodes on the channel when the comms director was hired. So I've followed through this. I've looked into his background. I've done all of these things. This is not something just found that's grabbed some corner of the Mormon culture ether here. There is context to all of this. And to me, some people say it's a missed opportunity. Okay, you can say that. It was a missed opportunity. To me, it's avoidance. He avoided this. And maybe that's the best thing for him to do. I don't know. But it's concerning to me, and that's my opinion. But I just wanted to say, number one, I want the transparency out here. That's the question. And number two, the context needs to be put on here to understand what the whole thing was about. What was the flack about? Lastly, I want to say this again, and I did this in the original video. I am not saying anything about the character of the comms director. I'm not saying anything about his faith. I'm not saying anything about his testimony. Some people bring this up in the comments. I do not own the comments. Right? I have never said anything about his character. And I think I said, as I recall, I said, look, he's probably a great father. He's probably a great husband. He probably is very good at his job. I believe that he is. But this is a problem to me, that this is not done in a way that is supportive of these things. It's concerning, and I know that for several people it is concerning to see this. It's not a vacuum, and he's not the only one, right? It's not in a vacuum, and he's not the only one. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you think you know Wix, but do you?
Stop ads, stupid ads. Yeah, I'll make a comment, dude. That's like, if you can't, well, I guess, yeah, it's not on his character. That's not him being a bad person, right? It's just him not aligning with the job that he's being asked to do. Like, what are you doing? How can you not understand the group? And I guess that's the other thing, is like, I think that coherence to the basic doctrine is very important, but I do think that there are a lot of people that don't believe that same thing, or they just interpret the doctrine in a different way. And so I will always stand on business when it comes to the proclamation of the family. I still love all of my family and friends who may not jive with that doctrine or that idea, and I will love them and support them in any way that I can. But as for me and my house, we worship the Lord, and that's one of the main tenets of the gospel. And I will always say as well that the gospel works for me, and the gospel works for my family. And some people don't see the gospel working for them and their family, and I think that's sad, because I think it can work for everyone. It might be harder in some aspects for others, but I think that there is a way for us as humans to all adhere to the gospel principles and to the Church of Jesus Christ. And yeah, I just wish that the church, as an organization, the leadership, and I mean, like, it's probably testified somewhere that this is bound to happen, but I do wish that they would, be about what they're about and keep the main line. And I know that the brethren, the prophet and apostles are busy dudes, but I don't know. I just wish they'd say more. I wish, for as much as we've been taught about all this transparency, I know people who have a gripe with the fact that all growing up in primary, it was preached to us or taught to us that our clergy don't get paid. I obviously always thought that at least the prophet and the apostles, the people who are full-time clergymen, I kind of figured like their bills had to be getting paid somehow. So like, I knew they were getting something, but yeah. So just little things like that. Like, if we can open up the transparency, which the church has been better at. The church has done a lot more as far as like the saints and publishing all the stories, the different stories where, we don't look too great, bad. Like Joseph Smith starting a bank and all that. Like, it's like a lot of stuff people don't know and have kind of been like just pushed behind the closed door, pushed behind the curtain, just like tuck it back there for now. Like, all those things are very easily accessible now. You can find all this information. It's not like there's really much that the church is hiding. There are some things where the church gets caught with their pants down, like the whole investing thing, or different stakes and wards covering stuff up, and I don't condone that. I think that everything should be transparent. I think that people who do terrible things within the church should be punished accordingly. I don't think the church has any reason to protect anyone doing heinous acts and committing crimes, hiding behind the badge of the church. I think that's wrong. Something we probably cover later. Well, I don't know if I'll cover it. It's pretty glim, but there was a glim. Is glim a word? It's pretty dark, but there was a missionary who served in, and the reason it pops up a lot on my timeline is because he served in Tonga, and throughout his whole mission, and then after his mission, he was abusing children in Tonga, and he got caught, and he got caught with the child pornography and all, or I don't know if I can say that. He got caught with all those materials, and it's like, that's terrible. And I hope that he's punished to the fullest of the law. I hope that he has to answer to all those families of those children, and there's no fixing that as far as what he did. But the church should straight up, like, there should be no way, if something like that happens, the church should be mandatory reporters. They should report on it. They should say, hey, this guy did this, this, and this. We do not condone his actions. He has been punished according to our side, and now we've turned him over. The law is going to take care of it from there. And I think if we can be more like just doing it like that, because it's like, it's crazy, because we teach that what is done in darkness will eventually come to light. And so it's like, we should not be trying to put anything in darkness. We should be, as we have to be, the most open book as possible. We have to be. So, very interesting from Greg. I like Greg. I like Quick. Let's see if there's one more thing I can do real quick. I'm trying to think of another one that I had. Shout out to whoever's still here. Is that Micah, Quinn? You guys just have it on in the background. BYU. Yes, BYU is a cult. I think you're right there, Micah. But the problem is, it's one of the most confused cults. The BYU has no idea what it wants to be. You talk to half the people there, like, there's such stark contrast between, like, different segments of that student body that it gets kind of funny. It gets a little funny. A little funny guys over there. Grateful for the degree I got. I was able to find my beautiful wife there. But outside of that, dude, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might call it good. We're approaching the Sabbath in about 2 minutes, so probably wrap that up. Only get that one video in, but shout out Greg. Everyone go follow Quick Media. Greg. I better double check that that's his name. Let me see real quick. It's Cadre. About. Let's do about. That's where it'll be. Let's see. Greg Mattson. Yeah, that's his name. Greg Mattson. He's good. He's really good. I really like him. Him and the shout out Ward Radio. They commented. I think it was a botted comment though, because it's like, I think the title had Mormon in it, so their bot went out there and scraped it. Oh, Mormon! Hey, we're a Mormon live stream. It'd be dope. I'd collab. I have no following to offer you, but I'd collab. We got Greg Mattson, Quick Media, Thoughtful Faith, Jacob Hansen is his name. Those are all legends, dude. I'll react to more of their stuff as long as they want me to. As long as they'll allow it. I just forget the first half of this thing just got banned because we were watching NRL highlights, something with no ad potential at all. But whatever. Yeah, I'll call it good. Hey yo. Oh, that's a real. All right, I'm hop off. Thanks, brothers, for coming in and filling my chat with some random stuff. Looks like Quinn finished the #1 chatter. Chase came in second somehow and pushed Mike out to #3. So, Meeks, if you're still here, you better comment, dude. Run it up. Alrighty. Peace.